Okay, so this looks like an arena, but there's really no footing that he's riding on. He's riding on the hard pack, which is much easier for the trotty horses to gait on because it makes them less trotty. So listen to the feet hitting the ground. You can hear there's no footing. And then you'll also see the foot is much longer, shoes all around, but the feet are longer. So the horse is picking its knees up a lot higher. Now, the other thing I want you to do is just listen to the footfall now and not listen to the hard ground. So you don't hear so much of, we should hear the pucka, pucka, pucka. And that's because this horse is doing more of a step pace. And then you'll also see, you know, each horse is different. Sometimes the trotty ones aren't as smooth. But you're watching the motion of the rider. You know, so there's a fair amount of motion going on up there. So we could get it smoother, which is what we'll try to do. Okay, now you said he's trotty when he's loose and he breaks into a trot when you're gating him. So what I would do body-wise is if you can lean back a little bit more, but keep your back straight, but bring your shoulder back a little bit behind your hip, and your leg can stay here, or as it gets going can go a little bit forward. So you're going to be more in a chair seat. What you're trying to do is get more weight towards the back of your saddle here. And then I know you said you had a saddle fitter check, and you know, I'm not there to check, but make sure that the top of the saddle isn't sitting down on your horse's wither, and that you can slide your hand underneath the tree here, and the horse has plenty of room to move its shoulders, okay? And here you're just starting. So he's a little close to the camera here, so I can't see the footfall as well. He is inverted, and I know you're doing that to help you to get the gait. Here, your hand position is pretty good. Just keep your elbows in. You don't want them to wing out at all. And then, I can't tell if your helmet's a little big, but you might want to shift that back a little bit, or you can put things in there to tighten it up if it tends to fall off your head when you're leaning. Forward is a good test to test that the helmet fits. So here he's inverted, but it looks like we can get your horse into a better frame. You are going towards the gate, but he's actually going a little bit more pacey. And it can get really confusing when you have a trotty horse that, you know, just trots when it's loose. And then when you're riding it, it starts getting pacey. So people get really confused on what to do. So he's got a slow saddle gait there. The speed is good, but he's swinging the legs a little bit too close together. That's a little bit better. So what we'd like to do is get a little bit more leg separation to try to make it smoother for you. And so what I would try to do, that's okay, I know you told him ho when he stopped really fast, is to try to get the horse in a little bit more of a frame to help separate the legs more. It's not bad, but I think we can get it even a little bit better. So that's more suppling work, bending, and then slowly trying to bring the nose in some to lower the head. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky because you are doing the saddle gait. It's pretty good. We're just trying to make it smoother and get a little bit more leg separation, but not so much that the horse starts going to a trot or a foxtrot. So again, with the upper body, if he's getting pacey at the moment when you're riding him, you can sit up and just be neutral, which means shoulders over the hips, or you can tilt a little bit forward where the shoulder is slightly in front of the hip. That's if you can multitask and do those things pretty well. With your hands, you're going to follow wherever your horse's mouth is. So when his head is up, raise your hand a little bit higher to follow it. But what I would do is make sure the horse knows how to bring its head down. So I'll send you a video on that. And what I would like him to do is bring his head just a little bit lower and then bring that nose down. So think of bringing the nose in more like this, okay? So it doesn't have to be straight down towards the ground, but I would like it tucked in a little bit more. And then what I would work on is, if it's still a little bit pacey and you're feeling a little soft bounce in the saddle, that's a step pace. You should feel more of a jiggle, or it should be completely smooth. So what I would try to do is not too many poles, because when the trotty ones, they'll start falling into a trot. I would throw poles around in random places, and if he starts to get a little pacey and you're getting that soft bounce in the saddle, then go over one pole and then you'll feel it smooth out. You try to keep it, and if he starts falling apart again, go over another pole. So it's just poles here and there. In between the poles, you can work on a leg yield, which I'll send you videos on, and shoulder in. And both those things will help for further leg separation. The hardest part is doing all these things at the same time. So start in steps to see, what works for you and what's easiest for you. So the first thing I would start with is just bringing his head down a little, not down here, not like Western Pleasure, not way down, but just down a little bit more with the nose tucked in a little bit more, but it doesn't have to be straight towards the ground. Keep the hand level wherever the nose is. Make sure there's a straight line going from that bit up to your elbow. So if it's up, you bring it up. As the horse brings its head down, you can lower it a little bit. But be ready that he might fall into that trot. So be ready to lean back, lift your hands up, half halt, bring that head back up. And anytime you get a couple of steps with his head a little bit lower and the nose tucked in, whoa, but sit back so you don't fall forward when he stops. Reward him, give him a little rest, and try again. So he starts to learn to bring that nose back in and get a little bit better frame out of him, okay? So again, you've done very well for a trotty horse. You're getting the gait. We're just trying to make it better and just make a prettier picture out of it, okay? The other thing I would do, because this saddle gait when they're trotty inverts the horse so we can get it, which isn't best for their body in the end. So I would try to get a flat walk out of this horse. All you want to do is your regular trail walk. You want to speed up, and I do that by alternating my legs, usually carrying a dressage whip to wave it to get a little bit more speed. And if they go up to the gate, just tell them, you can go and half halt on the reins and bring them back to a walk. It'll take a while because they're going to think they're supposed to go up into that gate because they don't know that you want a different speed, but just a walk. And so I just keep walking around the arena, trying to increase the speed. You can make circles and patterns as you're doing it, but you're slowly trying to get your horse to walk as fast as it can in a neutral frame. So with the head lower, nose tucked in a little bit, and just swinging those legs. And when your horse is doing it correctly, you'll move back and forth in the saddle, and the mane will kind of shake back and forth. And that's going to be your flat walk. But that flat walk will help condition your horse so it doesn't get too much. It will help condition the horse to help protect it against too much inversion. In other words, the bad things that can happen when we invert them too much. Okay, and if that doesn't make sense, you just let me know. The other thing I was going to mention in the other video, here I can't see so much, but it looked like the horse was coming down a fair amount in the fetlocks. Here I don't see it so much, and when you're riding him, you'll also see he doesn't lift his knees as high. They come up some, but that's what makes me think that longer foot, and the horse might have had just a little heavier shoe on it, which caused the horse to lift the leg higher. It gives it more knee action, which therefore causes more leg separation. So looks like the true gait, but you're actually doing a better gait here than was in the video because you're doing it naturally and you have more leg separation than they had at that point in time. So what I want you to watch as the horse is going, see he has a longer pastern here and he has a little bit longer pastern in the back as well. So as he goes, you're just watching how far they come down. So this was harder with him with a longer foot and shoe. So he's going to be better off with the shorter foot, won't stress the tendons as much. But as the horse gets older, if it is starting to come down more, or you can check with your vet and just have him check them once in a while, then you might want to put something like boots to help support him more. And just talk with your vet so they see what they look like now. So if you have issues down the line, because sometimes this can cause suspensory problems, the more proactive you are, the better, versus you don't know anything's going on and we start stressing the horse too much, okay? And I don't think you are. The horse is much better off now, but it's something confirmation-wise you just want to keep an eye on. And again, if the vet checks it when the horse is not having a problem, then they'll be able to tell, like, yes, they're dropping down more, or no, it's the same as it always was, so it's probably something else. It's just helpful to know. And I'm going to talk about frame-wise here. So frame-wise, the horse's head is up, not as high as you had it up, and nose is tucked in a little bit. When you're riding the horse, the nose is out more like this. What I want you to try to get is more of that frame. So I want you to try to get a little arch in the neck with the head coming down, but it's hard. You got to be careful with the trotty ones, because if it goes down too far and they round that back out, they're going to break into the trot. So you're slowly trying to get the horse conditioned that you can bring it a little lower with a little nose touched in. But as the nose comes in, you might have to put more weight back behind you here in your saddle, or you could even put saddlebags on with some water in it so you can take a break and drink the water, but it'll add more weight back here, and that can help you to keep the horse out of the trot as well. But that's a better frame long term to ride the horse in the saddle gait if we can get it. You're never usually with the trotty ones going to get their heads way down. You know, a lot of people want to ride them real rounded out. It's just not possible for the horse, unless we do funny things with their feet, to get that head way down when they're trotty and to hold that lateral gait, okay? But very pretty horse. I just think we can do much better. But again, you got more leg separation than this. It just looks different because you're doing a more natural foot and they had a longer foot here. I mean, you can definitely see it was long.